Hey guys, Chrisspy here. I got so many requests for a Pikachu tutorial, so I decided to give it a shot. If you guys want to see how I got this transformation, just keep watching. To begin, I'm going to cover my brows. I'm doing this by applying a glue stick. Then I'm going to comb the brow hairs really flat to the skin and apply a finishing powder. I'm going to apply some orange eyeshadow as a color corrector so that my brows don't show through. Then I'm taking some cream concealer and just packing it on there until the brows disappear and finishing with some setting powder. Next, I'm going to apply my bald cap. I'm going to secure the edges by using some spirit gum, and I just take this all the way around the edge. And then to seal it off, I applied some liquid latex. So that the paint will stick, I'm applying castor sealer, blotting it off, and then finishing with a setting powder. Next, I'm taking an eyeliner pencil and I'm really lightly just starting to outline the shape of Pikachu's face. Once I had the outline, then I started to fill in the face with some yellow paint. I'm using MAC Chroma Cake in yellow, and I'm using a Makeup Forever paintbrush. It's always a little tricky to get the paint smooth, but I find that if you have a really light touch when you're doing layers, it helps to not take off the layers underneath. Next, I started to map out the shape of the eyes, again with the same pencil, and I actually wish I used something a little lighter, probably a brown or a gray would have been easier, because when I messed up, this was kind of hard to take off. But I'm just mapping out the shape of the mouth, and it's going over my nose, and I'm just doing this really lightly. I mixed up some red paints from Mehron, and I'm using a small flat paintbrush, and I started to fill in the cheeks right there, and I wanted to get the right bright kind of orangey red that's on the cheeks. The red that was in the palette was a little bit blue, so I mixed it to try and get the right color. I did the same thing for the mouth. I mixed the red paint with a little bit of blue and brown to get that darker color up there. And then for the tongue, I did the same thing with my Mehron palette, mixing some red with a little bit of orange and some white to get the right pinky shade. For the outlines, I used my MAC black acrylic paint and this small eyeliner brush from Dose of Colors, which was actually perfect for this. And the tricky part here was trying to make those lines even, because since it's a cartoon and there's not a whole lot of detail, you have to get those lines even like it looks in the cartoon for it to look right. So I had to go over those lines really lightly to try and get them as even as possible. And I did not practice this. I actually decided the morning of to just go ahead and wing it and see if I could pull it off. So at this point, I definitely had no idea if it was going to work out or if this was going to be a huge waste of time. But I was like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Next, I took some black chroma cake from MAC and started filling out the rest of my head. And this is cool because it kind of creates the optical illusion of having that really round little shape face that Pikachu has. So for the ears, I printed out a picture of Pikachu and just cut it out, and I actually had to paint the yellow to match the yellow on my face, and I glued them to the bald cap using some liquid latex. This is what we did in the Dory tutorial also with the fins and the tail, and it worked really well, so we decided to go ahead and give it another shot for the Pikachu. So this was the hardest part, trying to get the eyes to be round. I'm sparing you guys, I edited out a ton of footage, but I just kept fiddling with it and changing the shape and making it worse. It's really hard to do because I basically have to do it with my eyes closed, and the shape of the lid changes when your eyes are open, so it was just really tricky. I decided to do the same thing with the construction paper and the liquid latex for Pikachu's body, just because my neck wouldn't have been wide enough if I painted it on, and I wanted it to look like his arms and body were proportional. By the time I got to the pupils, there was so much black paint on there that the white paint would not stick, so I decided to use paper as the pupils, and it worked just fine. So this is the completed Pikachu look. I know it looks completely ridiculous, maybe even a little creepy, but it was a lot of fun filming and just seeing if I could pull it off. So thank you guys for all the love and support. If you're playing Pokemon Go, please be careful, don't get hit by any cars. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys next time.
Team is working hard, getting ready to turn this lady into Pikachu.
What is that? Oh shit.